Hurricane Milton rips through Florida, pickpockets causing havoc in Manchester, while St. Anne detectives searching for a stabbing suspect, two shot in St. Thomas. This is Undiluted News, Mikey Bones reporting. Hurricane Milton made landfall near Siesta Key in Florida as a dangerous Category 3 storm and weakened to a Category 1 as it cut through the state and moved offshore according to the National Hurricane Center. Multiple residents in Palm Beach County were rescued after tornadoes reported touchdown in the area on Wednesday evening, authorities said. And some of those rescued were trapped on the debris or stuck in vehicles that were overturned due to the strong wind, according to the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. There were at least 16 tornadoes touching down in various parts of Florida, and we are still awaiting some reports of the massive damage they might have caused. And this is the fifth hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. this year, and currently 3 million persons are without electricity. The eye of Hurricane Milton, which traveled overnight from near the Tampa Bay area east towards Orlando and Cape Canaveral, moved past the Florida Peninsula and exited the east coast. But the storm, currently a Category 1 hurricane at 6:30, was still slamming parts of the east coast with onshore wind that could create tornadoes along Florida's Treasure Coast. For instance, Daytona Beach at the time was still recording wind gusts of 83 miles per hour, and storm surge up to 4 feet is still possible along the coast as the storm departs, and of course there was massive flooding. There were reports of death, but we don't have a number yet, but mankind will pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and start all over again. The families of two brothers who died in a motor vehicle accident in Spot Valley in St. James over the weekend are struggling to come to terms with their death. The brothers Kenneth Miller, otherwise called Gunny, and Vinroy Miller, otherwise called Stammer, were riding separate motorcycles in opposite directions when they reportedly collided into each other. They were both 28 years old. Kenneth's mother, Paulette Bernard, said she had begged her son not to attend a wake in Spot Valley. When her cousin stopped by and said they were going to another community, Zion, the mother said she agreed that Kenneth could go there instead. But the tragic news comes sometime after 1 a.m. that Kenneth and his brother died in Spot Valley. Meanwhile, Vinroy's mother, who broke down in tears, described her son as helpful. His sister Kenisha Miller echoed that sentiments while also described him as a jovial person who was the life of the yard. In all, 9 people died in motor vehicle crashes on the weekend. The number of fatalities since January now stands at 288 compared with 319 for the corresponding period last year. 5 of those who died on the weekend were motorcyclists, and since the start of the year, 95 of those people killed were motorcyclists. Several persons accused of petty theft carried out in the Mandeville Town Center have been taken into custody by the Manchester police. There have been complaints that shoppers, especially the elderly, are being targeted by pickpockets in the market and its environs. Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, commanding officer for the Manchester Police Division, said an increased use of technology, among other measures, have also led to decline in reports of larceny. Pickpocket thieves in large supply in Mandeville. Meanwhile, the Hunts Bay police have laid charges against a suspect who was being sought for the murder of a woman in the Nelson Road community of Maxfield Avenue. Ramaria Grant, otherwise called Cocker and Irons, has been charged for the murder of Irene Leng, and he is also under investigation for the murder of her son as well. This was disclosed by Superintendent Damian Madison, head of the St. Andrew South Police. Investigators said on June 26, about 7:30 p.m., Miss Leng was sitting in her gate on Nelson Road when a motor car with armed men drove up. 2 men alighted the vehicle and shot Mrs. Leng, and the wounded woman was later pronounced dead at hospital. Grant, who was on the St. Andrew South Police Most Wanted list, was recently captured during a police operation in East Kingston. Meanwhile, detectives in St. Anne are searching for a suspect in the fatal stabbing of a man in Claremont on Sunday. The victim has been identified as 38-year-old Joseph Baker, a farmer of Crowley in the parish. According to the police, about 8 p.m., Baker was walking with his girlfriend on the Crowley Main Road when they passed a bar operated by a man who is said to be the ex-boyfriend of the woman. On seeing Mr. Baker in the company of the woman, the suspect allegedly attacked and stabbed him in the chest. Mr. Baker died on the scene, and his attacker then fled. The St. Catherine North Police are continuing their probe into Friday gun attack, which left a man dead in Red Pond District in Spanish Town in the parish. The deceased is 46-year-old Anthony Breckenridge alias Big Dread of Paisley Drive. Reports are that about 8:30 a.m., Breckenridge was walking in a section of the Red Pond community when he was attacked by unknown assailants and shot in the upper body. The police were alerted and he was found suffering from gunshot wounds. Breckenridge was transported to the Spanish Town Hospital where he died while being treated for his injuries. Two men were rushed to hospital following a shooting in Seaford in St. Thomas around 9 o'clock yesterday morning. Deputy Superintendent O'Neill Thompson, officer in charge of operations for the St. Thomas Police, said that a group of men were standing in Seaford when two others walked up and fired shots in their direction before escaping. After the shooting subsided, it was discovered that the two men were injured as a result of gunshots. They were taken to Princess Margaret Hospital, where they are now undergoing treatment. And the superintendent said the shooting could be a reprisal for a murder which took place on Sunday. Jaheim Graham was shot and killed Sunday after he left home for a nearby shop. Onto sports, many-time champions Jamaica College look set to finish top of their group in the Digital Manning Cup after a 3-1 win over host Excelsior on Wednesday. And after going into the break with a one-goal lead, JC would concede early in the second half as Excelsior Kimali Scott found the equalizer. However, Javon Mills and Amarley King ensured that JC finished with 3 points. JC now moved to 19 points in Zone F, 6 clear of Excelsior. Excelsior have played one game less but would need to overcome JC's superior goal difference. Both teams have already confirmed their spot in the next round. And other games played: Kingston College were 1-0 winners over Jose Marti. Meadowbrook were 5-0 winners over Cumberland. Campion College had a 3-1 win over Penwood. St. Andrew Technical had a 2-0 win over Camperdown. Calabar were 10-2 winners over Kingston Tech. Vauxhall 3-2 winners over Haile Selassie. St. Mary's College a similar 3-2 victory over Denham Town. Wolmer's boys were 9-0 winners over Edith Dalton. Jamaica College 3-1 winners over Excelsior, and Bridgeport 5-0 winners over Pembroke Hall. On to the Costa Cup. Anchovy had an easy 4-1 victory over Nakalva. Cambridge were 2-1 winners over Green Island. Russies and Froome Technical played to a 0-all draw. Mayday were 3-0 winners over Mount St. Joseph. Little London 2-1 winners over Green Chill. Black River 5-0 winner over Godfrey Stewart. St. James and Irwin played to a 2-all draw. Stets beat Newell 6-0. Monroe College were 3-0 winners over BB Coke. Port Antonio 2-0 winners over St. Mary's High. The Cartridge College 3-1 winners over Cross Keys. Clarendon College 1-0 winner over Lennon. Central and Denby played to a 12 draw. Garvey Massey were 2-1 winners over Old Harbour. Kempshill 1-0 winner over Glenmuir. And Ocherius were 3-0 winners over Brownstown. And that's news and sports on your favorite radio. My name is Mikey Bounce. I gone.